Okay. I take it everybody can hear me now. I am so sorry. I forgot to press one little button, and it, I see that people were not able to hear me. So I am going to start over. And again, I apologize. I'm using some new software, and there's a learning curve here. I thought I had it, but I guess it didn't. Okay, the first question for today is, my timing sucks. How can I get better at rhythm? Well, this is something I've heard for years, people telling me they're bad at rhythm. And it's really not true. Rhythm is very natural to us. It's just you haven't practiced it. And yes, of course, some people have more natural rhythm than others. But everyone with practice can get good enough to do what they want to do on the guitar. It's really not an issue. I'm going to show you some very practical ways to get better at rhythm. And we're going to start very simple. If you have a guitar handy, I'd like you to pull up your guitar and just mute the strings. And we're going to create this sound for the rhythm sound. If you don't have a guitar handy, just tap on your knee to follow along. Everybody hear me? Good. Says it's working. Okay, so let's start off with, we're just going to play a pulse on the guitar. Sounds like this. And don't worry, pick or fingers. This is about the rhythm. We're going to call that pulse a quarter note. Each quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to count in groups of 4. That's a common measure in popular music. 1, 2, 3, 4. So do that with me just for a minute. We're going to try and just get this in our body, so to speak. 1, 2, ready, hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Quarter notes. 4 beats to a measure. Now, we're going to add some silence to this, some quiet. And this is an important part of music. It's as important as playing the notes, the silence between the notes. So we're going to call this silence a rest, and in this case, a quarter note rest, because it's going to be the same amount of time as these quarter notes. To start off with, let's just put the rest on beat 4. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and rest. That's beat 4, silence. Then we start over. Do that with me. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. Good. Now let's mix it up a little bit. This is part of getting some control over the rhythm. And if this seems simple, that's good. Don't underestimate the power of just getting this basic foundation. It'll help a lot as we start adding complexity. So be patient if this just seems really easy for you. Beat 2. Let's do beat 2. So it's 1, rest, 3, and 4. Ready? Go. 1, rest, 3, 4. 1, rest, 3, 4. 1, rest, 3, 4. 1, rest, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're going to change up a little bit. We're going down, but we're going to add a sound on the way up. We're going to call these eighth notes now. So we're basically dividing the beat in 2. Down, up. And they're even. Down, up. These are eighth notes. Eighth notes are the half amount of the time of a quarter note. So this is going to sound like this. By the way, we're going to use the syllable and to indicate the bass note. So instead of 1, 2, it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just try that much with me. A couple measures. We'll do it twice. Ready, hit it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to look over here and see if everything's working. It says finally he's on, so that's a good sign. I'll keep going. Next, we're going to put some silence in between there. So these are going to be called eighth note rests. So we've got 1 and if we skip that sound, 1 and, that's an eighth note rest. Another way to think of it is ghost notes. So 1 and, the end would be a silence, an eighth note silence or rest. And you want to keep the hand moving like a pendulum, up and down. So let's do that. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and, I'm sorry, we're going to put the rest on the end of 1. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do it. Ready, hit it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's mix it up a little bit. Let's put the rest on the end of 2. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, hit it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This time I'll say skip. Go. 1 and 2 and, skip. 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2, skip. 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2, skip. 3 and 4 and. Good, good. A common mistake here is to rush that eighth note. So I hear this a lot. You want to make them even. And part of this is about relaxing. Just keep this pulse going. And I tap my foot. It helps me. The up part of my foot is the up part of the eighth note. Let's try that again. Let's put the rest at the end of 3. Okay? End of 3. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good, good. Okay. Now, those are the elements of many, many, many rhythms, most rhythms actually. Just a combination of eighth notes, eighth note rests, and some accents here and there, meaning that you put a little more power on some strums than others. We're going to apply this to a real-world strum. I call this the pop rock strum. It's probably the most common strum for popular music. The Eagles use it all the time. Country rock, pop rock, campfire. If you hear somebody grooving in a campfire and it sounds good, it's likely some version of the pop rock strum. So here's what the strum will sound like. Oops. This is a combination of eighth notes and eighth note rests. So let's break it down. We're going to build it step by step. Let's start with the eighth notes. We'll get back to where we were a little bit a while ago. Eighth notes. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now we're going to add that ghost note at the end of 1. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Let's do that much. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now we're going to add another ghost note. This is going to be on 3 itself. So not the and, the 3. So this is 1 and 2 and 3. You bypass the strings on the way down, and 4 and. So let's try that together, very slow. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last time. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh, 3 and 4 and. Okay, I want to play a little faster for you so you can see what it'll sound like up tempo. So this is the components of just about every popular rhythm in 4/4 time. Eighth notes and quarter note, eighth notes, quarter notes, and quarter note rest and eighth note rest. Let me show you what the pop rock strum sounds like with chords. You can't fully tell when you play it slow without chords, but you can figure out any rhythm with this method. That was the exact strum that we just did, only with chords added to it. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to stick them over in the chat. I'm going to go on to the next question. So Joseph asked if we could include something having to do with Spanish guitar. I'm going to extend this rhythm session out to include a flamenco strum or the basic Roomba strum. And actually the same strum has been used in lots of Latin styles and nowadays is incorporated into a lot of pop music as well. So it's going to sound like this. Down, up, down, up, up, down, up. So instead of a ghost note of passing the string, I'm adding another technique called a mute. I'm stopping the strings dead. So it's 1 and 2 and skip. But now I'm muting. 1 and 2 and mute. Up, down, up. 1 and 2 and mute and 4 and. So this is on 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So try that with me. Very slow. Ready, hit it. 2 and mute. Up, down, up. Again. 1 and 2 and mute. Up, down. One more time. 1 and 2 and mute. Up, down. Okay, so I want to show you what that sounds like a little faster too. And faster. Okay, that's a Roomba strum and a variation. There's many variations of that strum, but that's a very common one and usually the one I teach first. Okay, next. Joseph asked also if you can use fishing line as the top 3 strings on a classical guitar. And I would say yes, but no. I remember thinking for years and even saying, hey, the nylon string guitar has fishing line for the top 3 strings. So it's you look at them, they look like fishing line. But there are some differences. They are made of basically the same materials. And I guess in an emergency, you could get some sound by putting fishing line on there. But they are made differently. First of all, when they make nylon string guitars, they're very carefully constructed in terms of the gauge of the string, how thick they are, very carefully. So here's a pack of nylon string D'Addario, and I'm looking, the gauges are 0.028 of an inch for the high string. The next string is 0.0322. That's a very specific thickness. And you wouldn't get the same sound if you just put fishing line on those three strings, even if everything else was the same. But they're not. Fishing line is also made in such a way that they're not even, and they're very careful, and they use special machines when they make strings for guitar that they're exactly even all the way up and down to give you a consistent vibration. The tone would sound dull and basically lifeless with fishing line. And you'd have intonation problems when you played up and down on the neck, meaning it wouldn't always be in tune. You know, even if you were to get all the proper thicknesses of fishing line and cut it all up, you'd end up being better off just getting strings that are made for the guitar. They would be the right dimensions, they'd be consistent, and they would sound much, much, much better. So yeah, in a survival situation, you could put fishing line on your guitar just to play something, but it's not going to sound beautiful, that's for sure. Okay, so that's all the questions that we have for today. I'm going to close up. Unless you have any additional questions, please add them in the chat. I'll take a quick look. Anybody think of an additional question I could answer? Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again in the next RGS Live.